All right, welcome back. It's our review of Super Mario Galaxy on the Nintendo Wii.
My box is over there. I don't have it, but yes, Mario Galaxy.
There it
You
is.
want me to grab it? I can
No,
grab it. Okay.
it's uh, it's a video game on the Nintendo Wii console, Super Mario
Mm-hmm.
Galaxy, and yeah, we are reviewing every 3D Mario game. We started with Super Mario 64, then we did Mario Sunshine, Mario 64 DS, and now Super Mario Galaxy. And obviously, we both had played it before, so it's not a fresh experience. As will I think the rest of the 3D Mario's we will both have played all of them, right? So,
Yes.
but revisiting it, but both of us, it's been over 10 years since we played it, so big,
Yeah. I
much needed revisit.
big time. I checked, and so I played like maybe 20 minutes of the 3D All Stars version,
Mm-hmm.
like back when that came out. Which, by the way, huge shout out to that. A fantastic version of that game. Would highly recommend if you have that version of the game. Like, just play that. It's great. It looks amazing. It runs amazing. It's fantastic. If you do still have the Wii version, then play that too because it's still a good solid version of the game,
Yeah.
and it still looks good on modern TVs. So, but yeah, checking my save file on my Wii U because I still had like one of my. For some reason, I used the Toad head instead of my Mii, which I thought
Mm-hmm.
was kind of funny. Um, yeah, it said that the last time I was playing it was 10 years exact, like pretty much almost exactly. Like it was, I started playing it like a few days after the last time I had played the game from 10 years ago. So 2015. Um, so that means I was playing it just before Splatoon came out, which is interesting. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to make of that, but
Yeah, I think it was like
there you go.
2012 for me. So
Mm,
yeah, ancient history. But
yeah.
as we start all our reviews, we'll start with our gut check, our score coming into the review out of 10, and then afterwards we'll after we discuss and review, we'll lock in our final scores at the end. Three, two, one, flip. 9.
And that's some synergy right
It's a
there.
synergy moment. It's a synergy moment.
Synergy moment.
Did you consider going
Um,
higher?
yes.
Yeah, I considered it.
This game is amazing. It's
Yeah.
it is like of each of their time periods. Like Mario 64 was seen as kind of a marvel, a revolution of its time. Mario Sunshine was all I think even of its time was always kind of an underdog. It was a kind of a weird, strange game. Some people really loved it. I think it reviewed pretty well overall, but it was still kind of like seen as it's sort of a weird, strange game. This game has always been beloved, and I think will always continue to be beloved because it's it's so good in so many ways that like it's kind of timeless. Even though it's on the Wii, it's still sort of a timeless game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I mean, I basically just no lifed it this weekend, um,
Hmm.
and get all 120 stars. I I didn't play through as Luigi, so I didn't do that whole thing to get the special world at the end.
Yeah.
I think it's actually, I think that's actually really annoying and a flaw, and I don't agree with that
I was gonna
decision
say
that
the
they did
same thing.
that.
That's like
So,
one of my least favorite things about this
um,
game. I did.
yeah,
I got 120 stars also. But yeah, you can't technically save 100% of it until you've done all the same stars again with Luigi, where it's like,
yeah,
and a lot of the stars you're not they're not going to be different at all. Playing like,
they're not different at all.
if anything, some things are slightly more annoying as Luigi slipping around, but then you
Yeah.
have some where it's like, okay, let's do the garbage, blow up the garbage again. There's no
Oh,
difference.
oh, you mean the true final boss of Mario Galaxy? Is that robot guy?
hmm And but yeah, so I've never gotten 100%. Yeah, this is my first time doing all 120, but like I
I did
said,
it once. I think on our original Wii, I did it. Because I remember doing that last world one time. Um, I actually considered, because I had a full 120 star save file for with Mario on the console. I considered playing through it as Luigi. But I was like, no, I kind of want the pure Mario, like just to play through it as that.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that instead.
Yeah, so
But
you know Life did this past weekend. I remember I messaged
mhm,
you, like, well, it was the night after we reviewed Mario 64 DS.
yeah,
I played Mario Galaxy for hours, and it was like
yeah,
within a couple of days I had like a ton of stars. But
yeah.
I had beaten the game pretty quickly, and then I then took like a couple of weeks, and then started 100%ing it, and then I did play like 25 stars with Luigi this
Hmm.
past week or so, just to kind of keep it
Hmm.
fresh in my mind. But it's like, damn, I don't know if I can really do this. it's
Not right
like
after. Yeah,
so silly.
it's a really good game, but it's like that would be a lot to have to do that over again. Because like I'm imagining doing Super Mario 64 that way. Like, oh yeah, just play the whole game over again
Yeah,
and
no,
just do
it's
that
not the
over again with
same
another
because Mario
character.
64, I don't even want to attempt 100%. Like, to begin with, it's too much of a pain in the ass for me to do all the stars in
Yeah.
that game. This one, it's like not a problem to get all the
No,
stars.
I it's other than like other than a couple of the stars, it's a delightful experience. I even this time I didn't I was thinking like the green challenge stars, I was going to hate those again, the trials galaxies. I thought I was
Mm-hmm.
going to hate those, and I think I ended up beating them like within like 5 attempts for most of them. I think
Mm.
for all 3 of them. So they ended up not being all that bad. I remember the ball rolling one being the worst, and the ball rolling one was I had no trouble with
Yeah,
almost at all. It was the race surfing one was the one that I had the most trouble with.
that is the tough.
Yeah,
So here's the thing, yeah. So we look
yeah,
at some of the more annoying levels of Mario Galaxy. It is usually to do with the motion control ones. The
hmm.
ball rolling, which I do kind of like in general.
I actually, yeah, I actually liked. I've gone 180 on that one. I
Okay.
actually think that's the best implemented one
Yeah,
of all of them.
he's
Um,
generally pretty good, but it is annoying to me
yeah,
sometimes, and you do have to like hold it perfectly upright and gently
yeah,
tilt it,
very gently, gently.
which like it does feel like some of the similar thing could have been done with a control stick, or something. To didn't have to be motion. Then the surfing one, uh, I I remember having more problems with it before. I kind of got it down this time, where it
Mm.
is you have to just more so let off the gas at certain
Yeah,
points
that's it. That
a lot
I
more.
just had to remember, be like, I don't have to hold down A the whole time.
Yeah,
I can, you can ease up on some of those turns.
yeah. The trash one, which was always the final boss for me.
Yeah,
I always forget every time until I play until for a little while I realize that it tells you exactly where to throw the bombs, and I don't realize that
it does.
it
What?
there's yeah,
No,
there's
no.
the little coin spots on the ground that are
Is
sprinkled
that
in
where you're
there.
supposed to
Is
throw them?
exactly where you throw them, and it's done.
What?
Yeah,
Why have I never realized this? How many
exactly. I
times
mean,
have I played this damn mini
I
game
remember
and I've
playing it
never
originally. I
realized
didn't
this?
know it, and then I found that out, and then I forgot again, and had to
Yeah,
relearn it this time. But yes, because it
it
was
took me like
still
45 minutes to do that.
it is
To do that.
hell. It is
The second
hell.
one, the first one's pretty easy, but
Yeah,
the second one is like you have 30 seconds, and it takes 10 seconds for the bombs to explode when you pick
yeah,
them up.
yes.
So
So it is hell. But then when you, if you look and see the yellow spots, if you throw it there, it blows up much more than you might think. But yeah,
wow. Okay, well,
so that
that's good
one
to know.
is
I'm
not
gonna remember
as
that now.
it's
That's
not as bad as it might seem, but
yeah,
still annoying. And also, what I also don't like about having to play with Luigi again is they don't even like make it cuter, make it quicker. You're still playing through the whole long beats of like, let me explain this thing to you, as if you never played the
yeah.
game before. It's like, oh, prankster comments, so you can talk to him about that. and it's still like very
Yeah.
slow going through the text and everything. I'm like, what is going on here? They didn't think to just be like, okay, you can skip this stuff. You know what you're doing. At least go right to the stars.
And also, it's apparently a weird parallel universe where Luigi is just an exact replica twin of himself
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of because I remember thinking when I learned that you unlock Luigi by getting all 120 stars, I was like, oh, is Mario the person he rescues? I think I asked my brother that, and he's like, no,
It's
it's another Luigi, and I was like, what?
because
That's
Mario
so
doesn't get
weird.
rescued. That's never happened.
No, that's right. Mario doesn't get rescued. It's the other way around.
But
But
yeah, so that's
yeah.
annoying to me that they. It was like, and also in general, I feel like the having the little hub area is cool,
Hmm.
but I found myself thinking like, man, I wish it was just kind of quicker to get in these levels than having to go all the way
A little
here, all the way
snappier.
there, and
Yeah.
then the prankster comets having to move them to get them to appear and everything. I feel like that could have been streamlined a lot more, but
There's some stuff, yeah, there's some quirks of this game that do hold it back where I feel like from memory is all stuff that is improved completely in the sequel.
yeah, I've always remembered Mario Galaxy 2 as the definitive my favorite, and that one at
Yeah,
least they have the whole green star thing, but at least they're all unique
they're
242
all new.
stars.
They're all brand new, which is really cool. I will say in this game's favor though, something that like I feel like over the years I've always sort of downplayed, but really kind of hit home for me this time around. Um, Something that they don't really do in Mario games, but made work so well in this game, is that it actually has like a pretty emotionally satisfying little story to it.
Mm.
It's apparently something from what I understand, it's actually something that the director, I believe it's Yoshiaki Koizumi, kept kind of under wraps. Like he sort of wrote it in secret. Um Originally, like he said that he to get himself in the mood to write the Rosalina story, the storybook stuff. A lot of it he would write it like late at night, so he'd keep it hidden from people because he was like, I didn't think we could really put a story in a Mario game, so it was something that he like sort of hid for a really long time that he wanted to implement because he's like, well, we got to explain what these characters are doing here and why they're helping. And it it really it really lands like surprisingly well for just a little side story.
Yeah,
It's extremely charming, wholesome, sad, but very yeah, very emotionally satisfying. Like especially how the storybook ends and how the story of the game kind of concludes. All just like it's just like a sweet little story, really, at the end of the day. It's not just um Mario saves the day and beats Bowser. It's like there's like some emotional closure that happens for Rosalina and the Lumas at the end of it too. And yeah, it's just it was very I found myself being very like heartwarmed by everything. I also really like how I don't know if you know Le Petit Prince,
mm.
the Little Prince. This game is the story of so the Little Prince is essentially it's a French story. I don't remember if it's a chapter book or just a storybook. But it's essentially about like a boy who travels on a comet or like a little planetoid, and it's about like it's very similar vibes to the story of this game. Like very very similar. Like he's left alone and he has to kind of navigate his way through the universe.
Mm.
Um, and so like the way that this game is presented is very very similar to my memory, which is not perfect, but my memory of Le Petit Prince, kind of as a general concept. I'm almost certain that they had to have used that at least as inspiration for for the Rosalina sort of story and the idea of everything. Um,
Right, and it's the music that accompanies the little storybook.
mm,
It's just
mm.
nice.
It's
because it goes the same.
so
It repeats the same thing. It's just the same
yeah.
few notes over and over again, but it just matches the entire tone of
I,
the story.
I don't remember what I don't remember all the tracks that Koji Kondo contributed to the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to the soundtrack in full in a second here, but that track
Generally forgettable soundtrack.
feels that track in particular feels the most like that feels the most like Koji Kondo. It's very simple. Like I can just hear him playing that out on a piano
Mm.
because it's similar in some ways to like the Piranha Plant lullaby from Mario 64. Yeah, bum ba dum bum bum ba da bum ba da bum 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 brum brum. Like it's just a very simple little thing that he put up and bum ba da 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 dum bum 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 ba da 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 bum bum. It's just a cute little
There's a
tune,
twinkle to it,
and
There's a little ding,
yeah,
ding.
yeah. It feels music box esque, um, and I don't because I don't know that for certain, but it does feel very much like that was the one of his contributions to the soundtrack. What I am certain of is that the Good Egg Galaxy is that is composed by him. This is great. That's a
Mm.
great piece of music. But the most inspirational piece of music, which is clear because it's all over the soundtrack, is the Gusty Garden theme.
Yeah,
Um, they clearly knew that like this is like the theme of this Mario Galaxy in general. It's like this is the idea
it's
of
the vibe, it's the
yeah,
energy, the spirit of it. Yeah, all wrapped
yeah,
up in that song.
for sure. Yeah, so that soundtrack is like it's extremely important to me. One of those it's one of those ones that like really I think of games really capturing I think more so when I was a lot younger of games really capturing my imagination. I think of things like Mario RPG and that soundtrack being like a huge uh spark of my imagination. I don't usually think of that as much later in my life. I like a lot of the music. I find it very like inspiring or emotionally satisfying, but I remember just like the Mario Galaxy soundtrack is just Mario having like a grand orchestra
Yeah,
being was just such a such an inspired idea for them to do that. It's no, the full soundtrack isn't that way. You still have your little goofy stuff here and there, um but having that the core of the soundtrack having a full orchestra and a choir for the Bowser stuff. um I during my gap year I used to mow lawns. I would mow my lawn and the church's lawn, and I would listen to the soundtrack. I would listen to this soundtrack. I would listen to there's a couple other things I'd listen to as well, but this soundtrack I could usually time out pretty well. I would be able to do like I think the whole church's lawn and then part of my lawn by the time the soundtrack was done. So I've heard this music. I mean, that was like once a week basically for a whole 2 summers, or honestly more. Because when I would come back for the summer and I'd mow lawns during college, I would still listen to this. Like it's very much a like I probably have listened to the soundtrack more than any other video game soundtrack. Um, so it's one of those ones that's very important to me, and like its companion Mario Galaxy 2 also we'll get to that in due
yeah,
time next either next month or the month after, um, or whenever we see fit to review it. We'll talk about the soundtrack in that too, but they go very hand in hand. That soundtrack is also phenomenal. So, um,
yeah,
but this
absolutely,
one, yeah, I mean, it's magic
truly,
in so many ways.
it truly is. It's like a game changer. It's like you think of video game music. This one
Mm,
always comes to mind as its own like pillar of what it did, and like yeah, just does such a good job of setting the tone, and just like you get a whole vibe out of the music alone for both Galaxy games. But yeah, this one obviously groundbreaking, and it's amazing. Yeah. So that's huge. That's a huge positive for the game.
Yeah,
And we talk
yeah,
about
for
the
sure.
entire concept and how mechanically it works too was also huge in terms of
Oh
using
yeah,
the way the physics work, the different planets. Just such a cool concept, and it was like completely
yeah.
different than anything we'd come to expect. Really.
I remember reading idea like it was a preview in Nintendo Power. It was in like summer of 2007. I remember reading. I don't remember if I had a subscription or if I was still bumming off my brother's subscription to Nintendo Power at the time. I don't remember. But I remember reading about Mario Galaxy in that, and them describing like how you would do things on these little planetoids, and that there would be, depending on the level that you're doing, you would do different things on them. Like you could find little bits of chunks of star pieces that will unlock a one of the not the pole. Well, there's like pole stars, which ones that like bring you to other planets by like drawing you in, and then how you'd progress. Sometimes there'd be branching paths where sometimes you'd go to one planet this way, and another times you go to this way. And I remember being like, "Wow, like that sounds really complicated," and like I don't. But I remember being like blown away by that idea. Um, in execution, it I feel like the game, what I had in my mind was a lot more, maybe a lot more open to
Yeah.
what the game actually is, which is a little bit, which is a bit more linear.
Right.
It's almost a blend between the get to the goal sort of style of Mario games that you have in like 2D versus the like open world concept that you have in 64 and Sunshine before it. And I think I think there's been a lot of discussion online whether or not this game does it successfully or not. I feel like it threads the line in an ultimately satisfying way. I think that there's some, because some galaxies are a little bit more open, they allow you to explore. Ultimately you are still being threaded to to like one set place, but you have a lot more um there's a lot more just like playing with gravity as an idea. Like
Yeah.
there's more of it kind of expecting you to experiment with that, and like on, especially on like the ones where you are warping around a lot, it does behoove you to look around the whole planet, see if there's something you're missing. You might find a secret there. One ups are basically useless in this game, but hey, you could find a one up there. You could find some star bits, or there could even be like, hey, there's like a hidden bonus to, you can get to another secret star on this one. There's a hungry Luma there, or there's a warp pipe that will bring you down to, and there's a star, another star in here that you didn't know about. Um, there's a lot of, I think the game does a really good job of balancing out both of those sort of types of Mario game, um, and in a way that uh, yeah, that just sort of asks you to like play around with the fun technical aspects of going around a planet in a totally like where the gravity is on the planet itself,
Yeah.
and you get to experiment around with all that stuff.
You're
Um,
platforming like you never really have with Mario. You have to
yeah,
rewire your whole brain for it. But at the same time, there's nothing super. The one thing I feel like in this game, I'm looking for that juicy challenge at the end. And as
mm.
far as I know, the final galaxy, even after all the Luigi stuff, that's like a pretty
it's
simple one, right?
it's kind of like a, it's more like that one is plays a lot. Yeah, from memory, that one plays out a lot more like a victory lap
Yeah.
as opposed to just a, like it's kind of a celebration of all of the different things that you saw in the game, as opposed to like a, you know, like a Mario Wonder or even a Mario Odyssey. The Mario Odyssey final level is also no joke.
Mm.
Um,
So
so
that's the one thing. I don't know if it's just because I'm so used to the game or what. Because it felt kind of like Mario Sunshine jumping right back into it. Like some of the
Mm,
stuff I remember being challenging, like certain Daredevil runs. I'm like, piece of cake.
very easy. Yeah.
But I always
I
remember Mario Galaxy 2. It's 100%. You do the Daredevil run. It's the super challenging final Daredevil run. And
mm,
so I wish there was just something. I always like that in these kinds of games where if they're generally pretty easy, I want like that one super challenging one at the end. Something like that. But,
mm.
you know.
Yeah, this game doesn't quite have that. I think, and I almost feel like maybe some of that was just due to them wanting to kind of nail down those technical things, making the gravity stuff work that they didn't. And we also have to remember the era this is in. The Wii is we're very much trying to appeal to a casual people who hadn't played video games so much before. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so. Because yeah, I mean they're like giving you one ups left and right like crazy,
Yeah.
and giving you those mushrooms, the mushrooms that increase your
Yes.
vitality. They're giving you those like left and right. So it's like um there's there's some like trickier platforming here and there in a few of the levels. I think of like the molten melty galaxy or whatever it's called. I
Mm-hmm.
think of there's some challenging stuff in
Yeah.
there. It's the only true fire level in the whole game, because the other one sort of blends an ice and fire level together, which is actually really fun. I think that's kind of a cool thing they did there. I especially like the star there where they literally blend them both together. It's like something an event happened where it's like both the fire and the ice stuff like all crash together, and there's like a blend of both of them, and that's super cool.
Yeah.
I wish the whole stage was kind of more like that, but um, that's the freeze flame galaxy.
Yeah.
But
And that's the fun of this game is that they have so many different galaxies. It's not
mm,
like some of the well, you think of like Mario Sunshine where it has the set different worlds and you do multiple things in those. It's like yeah, there's multiple stars in each one, but you're usually in and out pretty quick, and then you get to go to a bunch of different galaxies with very different ideas and fun creative concepts. And like obviously we always are. It's an easy comparison to make, even if we haven't gotten to it yet. Galaxy Two, I feel like just fleshes out things more, and
mm,
it just felt like we had so many ideas from the first one that we can make a whole other game and add on to it. That's so it was natural to go that way, and even like the power ups. Maybe in terms of like the Daredevil run level at the end of that game, that might have been more plausible because they had more stuff to work with in that game. There's only a couple power ups in here, and they're kind of not used too much, only in a couple select galaxies, and they
yeah,
expand on that in the second one. But you can tell there's just like ideas. They're throwing ideas at you in this, and it's still
yeah.
fun for that.
It does feel like they're really trying to get the fundamental. They wanted to nail down the fundamentals, kind of like Mario 64, where it's like we're not using power ups like crazy. We have them for select stars, and you can access them, but we're only really going to lean into it where it makes sense. Um, so in terms of power ups, I remember one of the things not liking about this game at all was actually the power ups in general. I don't think the power ups are very good in this game. Playing it again, I've actually found myself I really like the bee suit, and I didn't remember liking it much at all. But playing it again this
What
time,
is there about the bee suit that hit? Like
I think
I
it was
don't
just
like hate it or anything, but it's like, what is it
yeah.
about?
I So to me, I think it was just like it just it just was an interesting added way of traversal. I think like having
Yeah,
having some like having some interesting like gimmicks in each stage that it was in, where landing on the flowers, trying to avoiding water, which is something that you have to like then think about.
yeah,
You can get on top of clouds and move around that way in some of the stages with it, and just like climbing on stuff, being able to fly around, climb on the little cells, the honey cells. I don't know. There was just something about it that like it. I felt it was a lot more fun and engaging of a power. It's probably also the one that you use the most throughout the game.
Right.
Most of the rest of them you barely use at all.
You
Like
barely use them.
Boom Mario is in like two
Yeah, that's
stages,
true.
and it's
And
really bad. I hate it. I hate Boom Mario.
the
And
fu-
Spring Mario is the worst power up they've ever made.
I almost forgot
Um,
Spring Mario. Like I forgot this was even in this
it's
game.
so bad.
But
It's so bad.
the fire
It's
and ice ones, I didn't really like that they were so limited too. It
yeah,
was like you get like
yeah,
quick little bursts of it. I like the music. The music gets hype
yeah.
when you get
Music's
the
fun. Yeah, it's great.
but so and then
Um,
it gets more intense as you run out of time. But
mhm.
I was like, that's not what I'm looking for when you use a fire flower in a Mario game.
Yeah,
It's not like, oh, you got 10 seconds to just to do stuff with. So
right.
yeah, I definitely think they upped their game when it comes to that in the second one. But
Mm.
the Boo
Oh yeah, I
Mario,
think the power ups are
the Boo
that.
Mario, I didn't hate it. It's just like it doesn't really do much for me.
It's to me it would have been it's more interesting if you could go if you could stay invisible for longer. It's very like it's like a second. It's like you're invisible for a second
Mm-hmm.
and then you're back to normal again, and then you just have to avoid the light, and you can kind of like float around endlessly. I like there's stuff about it that I do think is very fun. I like the fact that other boos are like super attracted to Mario when he's in his boo form. I
Mm.
think that's very funny. Um, I mean I like that he looks like he's got the mustache and everything. I think that's cute. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's like ideas. So that's the
yeah,
benefit of these things is like you're not stuck with a huge like several levels with this power
where
up
you
you
have
don't
to use it.
like.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like okay, you don't like the ball rolling ones. All right, there's only a couple of those. You
Yeah,
don't most of them, a lot of them aren't even mandatory when it comes to these weird ones too. And so it's a nice thing where it's you're not
yeah.
stuck with the
It
same thing for a long time.
right, and that because that could be kind of even in Mario 64, even though there's a lot of variety, and in terms of like you don't have to do stars in every stage. You can skip over some stages and such. Um, skip around. This has that even I think even to an even wider degree because there's just that many more
Yeah,
worlds to go to. Like some galaxies are literally just a one-off. Like it's just you're there, you're in and out,
yeah.
and that's the whole
And
thing.
usually
It's
those are
just
some
like a
of my
little one
favorite ones
concept.
too. Like the
Yeah,
super
those are
quick
really
ones.
yeah. Those are a lot of those are like really brilliant in a lot of ways. Like um they they don't quite go to the levels of from what I remember of Mario 3D World where it's like they don't quite always nail the like introduce a concept, twist the concept, test your mastery of the concept and end the stage. They don't always quite do that flow. And like because most of 3D World's like level design is built around that concept. Like 2D Mario tends to be based around like level design tends to be have that as a concept for like how you make a good level. And this doesn't quite do that all the time, but I think some of the times it sometimes those are when it is doing those like those one-off stages is when it implements that kind of idea. And that's I think why they are always really memorable.
Yeah.
To me anyway. I think that's why they always kind of work. Um So, yeah, I agree. I think a lot of times those are among my favorites.
And
Um,
because there's so many, I don't know about you, but when I was thinking about this, I was like, I don't know if there's any distinctly my favorite levels in this game. As
yeah,
easy as it is to pinpoint in some of the other Mario games, because there's so many. I was like, what are my favorites? I
I,
don't know. There's so many
yeah.
short bursts of brilliance, but
I mean, Gusty Garden is always like a standout to me, but that's like almost entirely in part of the music. I think
yeah,
that level is really good too, but that music is just like really hits. It's like that. I really like Battle Rock a lot.
that's what I was gonna say.
Um,
Okay, so maybe there's
yeah,
something there.
Battle Rock is really good.
That one
Yeah,
has also the
I
really
think all of
good.
the levels in that.
purple coin one, right? That's the fun, challenging one to me.
Yes, yeah. The Dreadnought one is the one that's similar to that, except it
Oh,
sucks. I don't like that one.
okay.
But
See,
the yeah, I like the Battle Rock Purple Coin. Is very fun in that one.
because they kind
Um,
of like. I remember the purple coins kind of being annoying, but I actually kind of like them and playing them now.
I did too.
Because they often
The
lend
one
themselves to a little more challenge, especially on the ones like that where you have to like get some type platforming in.
to do them in, you have to do them in. Also, when they have a time limit too, is just fun. A lot of the time.
Yeah,
Um, the purple coin. I think the one that's the most infamous for me is the Luigi. It's like purple coins on Luigi. It's in the Toy Time Galaxy.
yeah. I remember that one being infamous, and I nailed it easily
Yeah,
first try. Boom.
yeah. I
It's
I
like,
I didn't do it first. I didn't do it first try. I kept doing like really stupid things, and I was like, wait a minute, why am I going this way? I should just go over this way. And then I got it like first try.
mm-hmm.
I was like, why am I trying to do this the hard way? I should just go that way and do it like. And it was yeah. And then I did it first try when I finally decided to stop being stubborn and actually play the stage.
Okay,
So
so they are very similar, Battle Rock and Dreadnought. I do.
mm,
Battle Rock is the one I like more. I did kind of like the
me too.
Dreadnought one. There are some annoying parts to it, but I generally like it
I
and what it does. But
yeah. I think I died a couple times on it this time around, and
me too.
I just this was also towards the end. I've been playing it a lot, so it was also towards the end where I was like, man, I only have like 3 of these left. Just let me just let me
Mm-hmm.
get past this, please.
Yeah,
um, yeah,
but yeah, I mean
but
it's so good, and I don't know. Is there anything else to say?
um,
Any
yeah, I think we
big
kind of covered
positives or
the
negatives
yeah
we missed?
yeah. I think we got the negatives pretty well. I'm trying to think if there's any other like appreciation for the technical aspects. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention that I was noticing this time as well is very simple in terms of what it was doing, but cutscenes. The one thing that they brought in Mario Sunshine was cutscenes, and the cutscenes in that game are all pretty bad for a
Mm-hmm.
lot of reasons. This is like this had the level of again pretty simple. They didn't have to go too crazy with it, but they had a very like there was a very cinematic presentation to the cutscenes in this, like really interesting camera angles and work. Very it wasn't anything like extraordinary
Yeah.
or experimental like what they did sort of with Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time, this is a game where I was watching a friend of mine play this over the course of the last few months. Every so often we get together, and that's actually one of the things that stood out to one of the things that we both were remarking on is that the cutscene, how they do the cutscenes in that game, is super remarkable. And it was reminding me when because he just beat Ocarina of Time today, and it was reminding me because I'd just been playing Mario Galaxy. A lot of the camera work is not quite as like I said, not as experimental or unusual as Ocarina of Time, but a lot of the elements of like how to make things work the right way to present a story was all done super well, I thought, in Mario Galaxy. It's just again simple but very effective, um, and it really shows that like Nintendo understands the whoever was in charge of the cutscene scenario like did a really good job. They understood like how to how to present the story the right way. Um, and I felt I was very appreciative of that. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. That they can even for a simple little game like this, that's like they know how to present an action scene like where the the carriers are coming in, all the ships from Mario 3 are coming in to attack the castle, or I think one of my favorite shots is actually Bowser like stumbling after you beat him at the end of the game. He sort of like stumbles
Yeah.
around and he's like, "No, my galaxy!" It's like my empire. Um, so
How do we feel about the Bowser ones fighting Bowser in this game?
fighting Bowser was I mean, because I know exactly what to do. I mean, it's like it's kind of
Piece of
a
cake.
nothing at this point.
Yeah,
But I, that being said, I find it's interesting because it's engaging. It's more than just like get behind him, spin him around, and then like hit the platforms. It's like it's a lot more interesting. It's a lot more. It's involved in like game mechanics that you are using throughout the game. It's like use your environment, um, know like understand how the gravity's working, and like avoid obstacles while trying to hit him, and then spin. Just spin. That's all you need to do.
yeah,
um and it's, I think it's simple but effective. Like most of the bosses are really easy in this game.
for
The
sure.
only one maybe, I remember being like, growing up, I remember the one that was like always kind of like, oh no, like that could be really hard, was the rock ghost one.
Hmm.
I remember him being really intimidating. I beat him like first try both times. It was
You
like
need to
I
jump
didn't get
now.
hit.
Yeah.
I don't get hit at all. It's this the daredevil for that. Not even a. It's just a piece of cake.
Yeah.
It's like whatever.
Yeah,
Um.
Bowser's cool though because they do stuff that they
Yeah.
haven't done in any other game when it comes to Bowser. Like they flip him on his back like the turtle he is, and then they have him spinning
Yeah.
around, showing off like the
I.
planetary thing. You know,
Yeah.
meet him on the other side, spin him.
It's really, yeah. I think it's. I think I found those fights very, again, simple, maybe a little easy, but like very satisfying because it is like it's acknowledging that you're understanding the game, like how the game mechanics are working. Like you're understanding that you even just said like the
Yeah,
planets, and like meeting him and spinning at the right time, and um yeah, I think that's all really good. So also just like the motion controls in general, for this game, that's I guess something we didn't really talk about. There, other than like the specific, the basic bread and butter ones, not talking about the special ones that you do with
hmm,
the stages where you have to twist or whatever, but like the ones where you spin or use the pointer to collect
yeah.
star bits.
That's another thing that's like
I think it's
unique to
great.
it because it has you thinking of
I
things
think it's great.
differently. I found myself spinning to kill enemies more than jumping on them. So,
Mm.
but it's also the fun little twist where if you spin, you get star bits, and if you jump, you get coins.
Yeah.
So, and it was also nice that you never really, at least this time playing, as long as you're mindful about getting star bits as much as you can, you don't really need to backtrack or anything like major
Yeah.
to get a lot of star bits for like the hungry lumas and stuff. It's
Hmm.
pretty. You can get it pretty easily if you're just getting star bits as much as you can.
Yeah. If you're just being mindful about that, engaging the game where it's at, um, yeah, you shouldn't really ever have an issue
Whenever
with
you're
that.
flying
It's
in,
great.
move your cursor over
Yeah,
the.
just like yeah, yeah.
But the movement in general,
um,
obviously, to fit with the concept, is very floaty, a lot more floaty than some of the other ones, and
yeah,
it plays with that pretty fun in a pretty fun way. And then the extra spin is nice,
yeah.
but
Well, I like how you can kind of you can sort of cheese. It's not quite as movement fluid as like Mario Odyssey, but there is still a lot of like interesting movement options and abuse that you can do sort of at the game, where like you backflip, spin, wall jump, spin again to
yeah,
kind of get
yeah,
some
yeah,
extra height. So there is some like really thoughtful mechanical stuff like that where you can kind of work within the mechanics of the game to like get around a little bit more quickly than
yeah.
you can in some of the other games. And um
And there's certain points
yeah,
where you
I
can
think just
skip where they intend you to like use a pull star or something. You
yep.
just send a
Hmm.
long jump or whether it's like you can do get extra horizontal that way or you get extra vertical using your
Yeah.
backflips and your spins. So
Yeah, I movement just in general, like it is another, just continues to be a highlight of these games. I think they've really, there's just a lot of really satisfying. I mean, sometimes just being on a planet, on a small planet, and just like long jumping and like spinning around it and just seeing where you end up is just really
yeah,
fun. It's just really fun to just do that sometimes. Because I always love doing that. I like doing that on the Battle Rock, the first bit of Battle Rock where you have the disc. little planetoids,
Mm,
and like because
yeah,
you can really like go really long or really far with some of those
yeah.
with how they sort of interact and play with each other. So
There's like a whole homing ground pound that you can do too.
yeah,
That like you
yeah,
never it never really comes up in the game at all. I just knew it
it doesn't really
from
even
playing it, yeah, before.
it doesn't even teach you it. It's just
Yeah.
you can if you just by learning you can kind of just learn it if you spin and then ground pound. It's kind of a
Yeah.
neat thing.
Another thing they do
But
use, a mechanic they use in some levels is the cursor, like the little ones where you have to poof your bubble along, give a little
oh
poof
yeah,
poof.
yeah. I
Some,
those are fun. I actually kind of like
they're
that.
fun. There's
It's
something
kind
kind
of
of
neat.
satisfying about how it poofs. It's like a steady
Yeah.
stream of air on that bubble. I don't know. These are fun little concepts where
um.
you can play with the different things, and like I said, in and out. You're not
Yeah.
spending 2 hours on poofing bubbles straight. You know.
The cold effect is also kind of neat too. So if you fall on the
Mm.
that's something I was kind of remarking on because it sort of like staticifies your TV like in a weird way. Like it doesn't work as well on like an HD display anymore,
Mm.
but like it kind of does like the almost like the lines effect,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
where like where it gets really fuzzy and blurry.
yeah.
Because it's like it's just so cold, like you got to get out of that water as quickly as possible now.
Yeah, and the movement in
Um,
general with the ice power is fun because he's like skating along and it's nice and smooth.
Frozone. It's your
Yeah,
Frozone from The Incredibles.
and you
You're
can hit it
doing
with the spin, get a nice little jump in there. It's like it's
there's
fun.
there's a different animation for the triple jump while you're doing that too, which
Mm.
is cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, all those little extra flourishes are like, thumbs up on that. Like
Yeah,
they've continued to make movement really enjoyable. Um, and most of the time the game doesn't feel unfair. When it's like if you miss a jump or something, you can kind of be like, yeah, that was my fault.
yeah, yeah. Okay, and with the Rosalina, one thing I wanted to say about the Rosalina story stuff is I
Yes.
had saved it until the end to watch,
Hmm.
and then I forgot because I was like, oh, this is gonna be a long thing. I'm gonna sit down for, huh? And it's actually
Yeah.
not. It's not long winded at
No.
all. It's like quick,
No.
few chapters that are all short and sweet. So I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, it might be a nice story, but I'm like, I really want to sit through tons of text. I was expecting just tons of text,
Yeah.
but it's like nice, get a nice little storytelling music going, and
Yeah.
it's nice.
Yeah.
So
And then the end of the game, the whole universe resets.
yeah,
Crazy. There's a whole singularity is crazy. And then I guess Mario and Rosalina are protected from it, I guess, because the Lumas love them the most.
yeah.
So
All
they
right.
just reset the universe, and there you go. You've got this. You're set up for Mario Galaxy 2 right there.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's give our final scores. All right. No nicknames, Alec.
Enough of the nicknames.
Enough of the nicknames. 3, 2, 1, flip. 9.
9. I was drawing a little
9
Luma.
in Luma. That's an extra. That's like a point.
9.1.
Mm.
It's good.
All right, so it's a Tarqaron score of 9.
Um,
Right?
yeah, this is just a little a gem, an absolute like for the Wii, which is like a console where Nintendo was embracing this casual audience. And yes, this game is on the easier side. This is just like proof that it's like no, we're still making like really good video games though.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're still dedicated to the craft of making good design, like you have
Inspired.
good design,
Inspired.
inspired animation. We're even adding a little story in there. It's like, man,
Mm-hmm.
what a great little
And they
video
had only
game this is.
just started cooking. They had only
Yeah,
just started. So, um, let's rank them so far. All right. I was thinking
yeah,
this. I'm like, I feel like our rankings will be pretty straightforward up until a few
hmm
games from now, and then it's like, ooh, that getting interesting. Once we're getting into Mario 3D World, Mario Odyssey, to see where
yeah,
those ones all stand, it might be tougher. But for right
yeah.
now, it's Mario Galaxy, Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Mario 64 DS. All right.
I think that's pretty. I think that's yeah. That's definitely that for me. Yeah.
Again, it's like I might say that I would more likely play Mario Sunshine than Mario 64 if I were to just pick it up. But I think Mario 64
Yeah.
is the better game comparatively. Yeah.
Mario Sunshine just has the vibes.
Yeah.
That's it's vibes the game for sure. Um.
And it's more nostalgic
Uh,
for me personally too.
mhm.
But these Galaxy games are also nostalgic to me. And Galaxy 2
Yeah.
is one I've always had as like probably my favorite 3D platformer period. My one of my favorite Mario games. And so it'll be interesting to see if it holds up or not. Honestly, when it switches to Starship Mario, thinking of what I found it annoying to have to go all over the place. So that might be just what I need, just keep it going, keep the
Yeah.
action
Just
going.
keep the action going, and if you have a little hub world, it's just a cute little fun spaceship that looks like Mario's head. So
Hmm.
yeah, sometimes that's all you need.
And 242 stars without
Mhm.
having to replay the same exact stars all to
Yeah.
get to 240, 42. So
I remember that being pretty cool because some of them are like really simple. It's like you just like run in the stage and now it's sitting over there. But some of them are like no, you have to like think about and hunt them
yeah, the
down.
green
So
stars, yeah,
I'm
they are really,
yeah
yeah.
yeah
So I'm curious to see if, and obviously, um, I remember the Daredevil run for the final star and 100%ing it. I remember that being really tough. So I'm curious if it's like if it's still that tough or it'll just like get it in a couple of tries and like, oh, okay,
mm.
it was just a different time.
You're just a bad gamer at that
Yeah.
point. A a fledgling gamer.
But I'm looking forward to the different power ups and whatnot,
Mm.
Because I'm
Yoshi.
curious. Like, we love most of the 3D Mario games coming up, but I honestly don't know
Mm.
where I would rank like Mario 3D World compared to Mario Galaxy, compared to Mario Odyssey, and
Yeah.
so it'd be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know either because like I have a lot of thoughts about all those games.
Hmm.
So um, mostly positive.
Yeah, they're all going to be
So
nine material and higher likely. So
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
but
the other one, the oddball one, is Mario 3D Land, which
mhm.
I'm curious to see if I've just been too down on it over the years. Let's see.
Yeah, it's and same for me because like I played it pretty recently, like a couple years ago, and I remember being a little lukewarm on it. But I almost wonder if fresh eyes revisiting it now that I'm more familiar with it again, if I feel a little differently. But
So next up is Mario Galaxy 2. I think
mhm.
the system we've found that kind of works is when there's a Gents challenge, we don't do the 3D Mario's, and then when there's not,
Yeah,
then we do the 3D Mario's. That way, it's not like
like
interfering with that.
right. So
So
might be a
probably three
later
months,
this summer.
probably about three
Yeah.
months from now.
Yeah. So it'll be in the middle of the summer. It's a good
But
time
give us a
for a
break
good
from
old
the
fashioned Mario game.
galaxy. Give us a break between the
Yeah.
galaxies. There's not too much galaxy too quick. Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, as always, plenty of stuff here on the channel. Subscribe for more. Like the video. Let us know your thoughts on Mario Galaxy. Have you played it? I've encountered a surprising amount of people who haven't played Mario Galaxy 2, but I assume that's not as much the case for Mario Galaxy.
Yeah. I think with the well, especially with the Switch port, which I was just looking up sales for that. That sold like 9 million copies or something like that worldwide. I
Hmm.
was like, you kept it. And when I saw that, I was like, so you sold 9 million copies of this game, and then you decided, you know what? We're only going to have it available digitally for a limited amount of time.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would you do such a thing? You could continue, you could make so much money just
Yeah.
keeping it on the
And
storefront.
because they left off Mario Galaxy 2, that was kind
Yeah,
of like why going into this, I was encouraging us to play the original Mario Galaxy because then it would be a more
yeah.
natural fit to go to
I'm
have to play Mario Galaxy 2 on the
I'm
Wii.
I'm very happy that I played it on the Wii because
Yeah.
it's just something about how that's just like it feels at home with those
Yeah, I'm
controllers.
curious of the motion
The Wii
stuff,
Nunchuck.
if the motion how it translates to the to the Switch. Those different motion
I
controls.
I think you can play it. I think here's the thing is I think you can play it without the motion controls. I'm pretty
Whoa.
sure.
Yeah, nah. That's not the spirit of the game.
Though I don't know. Though I don't know how the pointer would work though if
Exactly.
you're not
That's what I'm
using
trying to
that.
think. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, Joy-Cons suck.
I'm not sure.
Joy-Cons
I'm not.
kind of
I guess I
ass.
don't know. Yeah, I'm
Honestly.
not sure how that works. I can't remember because, like I said, I played. I've got like a few stars in it. I don't really remember how it works, honestly. I What I do remember is I played it in. What is it, the in not handheld mode, but the like with the switch, the stand kickstand mode. I played it in that mode.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't remember how I did that. I don't remember how I played it. So
Oh.
I must have used two separate Joy Cons. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if you enjoyed this video, why don't you go check out our review of The Mandalorian season 1? Okay.
Sure.
Right here in the
Yeah, go
channel, we
check it
do
out.
movie reviews, TV, video games, discussions, Survivor every week, podcasts every month. Tons of stuff here in the channel.
It's a satisfying story. You get a little baby in there too.
Sure. Sure,
There you go.
baby.
You had a baby Luma,
There's a lot
baby
of, yeah,
baby
it's
Yoda.
it's just absolute synergy.
Absolute synergy. There it is.
Yeah. All right, and until next time.